Okay, so this game we are going AFTERSHOCK Tank Lux. So let me buy my relic shield. Just for the sake of the thing, I don't really like relic shield, but usually I think back then they went relic shield with the tank version. I mean it is electrocute Nami illusion, so it might help. So I have already, the video would be already out. I did a AFTERSHOCK Enchantress Lux, I believe, or something. So it would be already out, and I talk about why AFTERSHOCK is shit. But if you haven't seen it, I'll just quickly rehash why AFTERSHOCK is not a thing on Lux anymore. AFTERSHOCK got nerfed on patch 9.23 in season 9. AFTERSHOCK got nerfed literally because of Lux. Lux is the sole reason, Lux Support is the sole reason why they nerfed AFTERSHOCK in season 9. Why? Because people were going AFTERSHOCK Lux, which was surprisingly really strong. What they would do is like they would max W, go AFTERSHOCK, like just walk up to fishes, snare them, and kill them. And AFTERSHOCK gave so much armor. So back then, AFTERSHOCK gave 70 armor and 70 magic resistance plus 50 bonus magic armor, blah blah blah. Which you can check in the, just type in Wikipedia AFTERSHOCK, like Google AFTERSHOCK on the Wikipedia, and you'll see the patch notes. You just scroll down and you'll see the past patch notes and the nerfs and all. Nowadays, it's 35 plus 35. Oh, sorry. 35 armor magic resistance plus 0.8 scaling on your bonus armor magic resistance. So what does that mean? It means we lost 35 armor. So instead of 70, we got 35. But for us to get more armor, we need to build more armor. Right? Like, we need to have armor in the first place to benefit from it. If I had 100 armor, I would get 35 plus 80% of that 100, so 35 plus 80. But you're not gonna be building armor on the Lux, because back then in season 9 when they did AFTERSHOCK Lux, it was actually Enchantress AFTERSHOCK Lux. It wasn't like some full-on tank moment. It doesn't work anymore. So if you want to do the AFTERSHOCK Lux, you're 2 years late. Almost 3 years late. Well, actually not almost 3 years late. At the end of this year, it'll be 3 years late. For the sake of this video, I am doing a tank version of AFTERSHOCK Lux because there might be someone asking me like, someone might ask me, well, why don't you go tank Lux then? Did he use his expunge already? He should win. Nice. Like, I don't think you guys really go tank Lux. Like, I don't think anyone has tried. But sometimes I get asked questions like, what about tank Morgana or whatever? The answer is, tank items on Lux, tank Janna, tank Soraka is not good. The most basic thing I can say is like, you will never have enough money to outright tank anything. No matter what items you build. The only time you would ever tank anything is if you're snowballing so hard that the enemy team is just so weak and can't kill you. But once you get into late game, your tank items will not do you anything. It will stall out your death, your inevitable death, by like 2 to 3 seconds. 2 seconds at the best. Why? Because you cannot just rely on items to be tanky. That's why you don't just see tank ADC or whatever. People are tanky because of their innate abilities as well. Leona can press W and she gets 40 armor, 40 magic resistance plus 8% or 8 flat damage reduction per hit. Hold on, let me buy my item. What am I getting again? I'm getting a Locket. Oh yeah, we're going Locket AFTERSHOCK for the sake of this video. Not because it's good, but just for testing. If you don't know why, like, when do you go Locket, when do you go Shirley's, when you go Moonstone, check out my other Lux videos, or I do have like a separate 1 hour video on when is the best, or what is the best ring, what is the best item, blah blah blah, and how to flex items, so you can check that out in the playlist. If you check the playlist, there'll be like some sort of like theories, tips playlist on my YouTube. What was that going on, like before I just went on that? Okay, so Leona can press W, she'll get 40-40 I'm not gonna say armor magic resistance is kind of a lot, so I'm just gonna say 40-40, and I hope you guys know what I mean by 40-40 and 50-50. Alistar can press R, and so his ultimate, and he'll get 50% damage reduction all the way up to 75 or whatever percentage for a few seconds, like 8 seconds, as he levels it up. These characters have innate abilities that make them tanky. Sometimes people ask me about Nautilus, like, what do you think about Nautilus? Honestly, I think Nautilus is overrated. I don't really like Nautilus, to be quite honest. I think he's pretty weak. Especially late game, I don't think it's quite tanky, because his W just, like, gives him, like, a bit of shielding. I don't think it's, like, amazing, honestly. But that's my opinion, if you're wondering about it. So these tanks can make them... These tank supports have abilities that make them more tankier. Going tank Janna, tank Lux, they don't have abilities that make them tanky. So they're relying on just the items. But they never will be tanky enough to just stand in front of someone's face and like tank forever. Like, if you girls have seen a top lane Mundo, I'm sure you have, a top lane Mundo be really tanky, stand in front of your face and never die. That's because of his abilities plus his items. At Soraka, if you had, you know, the same income, 20,000 gold on Mundo and 20,000 gold on Soraka, and they build the exact same items, the Mundo will always tank more than the Soraka, no matter what, just because of the abilities, the differences.
I will be a luminous force in the world.
And on top of that, you'll be very weak, one, with your... If you're going tank stuff, you won't get the extra 10% shielding and healing that you want from Redemption or whatever, to make your Soraka heal stronger or whatever, right? You can, like, survive a bit more longer with, like, you know, a bit of HP and armor and all that, but your healing is so shit that your teammates will die. Like, even if you don't die and you survive, your teammates will die because you're not healing a lot, or you're not shielding a lot. And also, when it comes to tanking, and I want you guys to listen carefully, tanking does not mean soaking up damage and just that. Tanking is more than just standing in someone's face and like taking damage. Tanking means to create pressure, create space for your team. And how do you create space and pressure? By being a threat, by doing damage, or... Well, with your crowd control, your damage, right? If you notice things like Mundo or whatever, a lot of the abilities and the passives and all is like deal extra damage based on your like 10% of your HP, or deal extra damage 50% of your armor. The more tankier they get, the more damage they actually do. Soraka doesn't do that. Lux doesn't really do that. You know, I don't do extra damage because I build more tank. I just survive and become more tankier. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit if you're more tankier? They could literally ignore you. If you do no damage, your crowd control is like minimal. Like Lux's Q and E is not the greatest utility compared to like Thresh, Alistar, Leona and all that. If you're not creating CC, you're not doing damage, why would the enemy team care about you? Like, you could literally stand in front of their face and dance in front of their face, but like, why would they care about you? They're not scared of you. They could literally walk past you and like kill your team. The rest of your team, like AD carry. So tanking does not just mean like being tanky and like soaking up damage for the sake of soaking up damage. Like tanks like Mundo and all that like actually get in their face, but also are a threat. Like if this AD carry ignores this Mundo, the Mundo will kill the AD carry. Like raise your hand if you ever seen that. Like you play ADC, you play Lux, and like a Mundo like literally walks up to you and kills you, and you're like, oh my god, I'm Lux, but how did this Mundo kill me? It's because Mundo actually does a lot of damage with 3 him building tank, or Malphite tank, or whatever. And then on top of that, for you to benefit from the tanking aspect of, you know, if you're going tank Janna, tank Lily, or whatever, you would only benefit from it if they're hitting you. Right?
Determination will see us through.
You want to build tank because you don't want to die, right? But that would mean they're hitting you. But if you're a ranged character, like Soraka, Lulu, whatever, and you're standing at the back, as you should be, then they're not even hitting you in the first place, because you're all the way at the back. So if they're not hitting you and you're building all these tank items, then what are you doing? Like, what do you get out of it, right? Like, all that HP and armor that you built is irrelevant because they're not hitting you. So the only way you could possibly make use of the armor and magic resistance health that you bought is if you purposely walked in front of them, purposely went into melee range and was like, hey, hit me! But again, like I said, no damage, not as much utility. You know, your shields are weak because you're not building your redemption or whatever. Then it doesn't matter if you're standing in front of their face. You're just gonna be, you know, just existing. Now with the old items, we're in the new items now with Abyssal Mask and all, so I'm still not sure if enchantresses can really build Abyssal Mask and all that because I do think it's like short range. Also, I haven't really been talking too much about the gameplay. It's kind of like going past me. Don't know if okay, yeah, I can't save them. I want to try help them, but I can't. So the old Abyssal, or I think Anathemas might be like a good. Anathemas is a good example. Where's Anathemas? What the fuck? Wait, was Anathemas always here? I swear to god it was on the support tab. Was it always here? So true. I don't think it was. I just sworn it was in the support tab. Anyways, some people have asked me, what do you think of Anathemas Jana? What do you think about Anathemas Morgana or whatever? You are spending 2,500 gold for the HP and the ability haste. So we've already spoken about, do you really need the HP? Because if you're not in the face or if you're like standing at the back, like you're not going to benefit from the HP. So ask yourself, am I really going to benefit from this HP? Cooldown reduction, great, love that. But there's also the other part. Yes, you might be like, oh, if I'm Morgana and I get Anathemas, I can stun them for longer or snare them for longer, right? So like, love that for me, but we should get Anathemas. But you're forgetting about the other aspect of Anathemas. The other aspect of Anathemas is that each stack of Vendetta grants you 1% reduced damage from your nemesis up to 30%. So Anathemas makes me take less damage from the person that I've linked up with. And going back to the discussion we had, well, do you need that damage reduction? Most likely not, right? Like, you can Anathemas someone and like, oh, I want to crowd control them more. But if you're not utilizing the damage reduction part, you're spending 2,500 gold on extra fluff you don't need. I don't know if I can make an analogy in real life, but, you know, I guess it could be like, if you're paying for, like, something, and then people are, like, adding in fluff to charge you more, but you don't need that extra bonuses and fluff. That's the same thing with going Anathemas on, like, Lux or, like, some sort of enchantress. Like, yeah, you can utilize the cooldown. Yes, you can use the, what the fuck am I building? Actually, I just realized, I was meant to go Locket, wasn't I? I've been so busy talking, like, why do I have Band of Glass Mirror? I guess Band of Glass Mirror I can get Chemtech. Oh no, I was meant to go tank. Oh shit, let me sell this. I was meant to go tank. I've just been like talking so much I've like completely forgotten what I've been doing. For the sake of this video, I'm going tank because of the Aftershock. Because some people might be wondering like, well, if Aftershock is only working if you're going tank, but why don't you just go tank Lux? So going back to the Anathema, it's like, yes, you get cooldown reduction, yes, you can make people get snared longer, or blah blah blah, but you're missing out on you're not using the HP part as well, nor are you using the damage reduction as well. Someone like Leona, Alistar, they go in, they will take damage because they're melee, they're going in, they're taking damage, they need the HP, they need the damage reduction. So not only are they utilizing the damage reduction, but they're also utilizing the percentage, like cooldown reduction and the CC part, so they can make use of Anathemas to its fullest extent, whereas enchantresses cannot. So think about that when you are going like a tank item on like an enchantress. Like most likely an enchantress would not be able to fully utilize the item. I've also just been walking around like mindlessly. Like, oh my god, we're at 15 minutes. Girl, my 15-minute TED talk.
Beginning to plumb the depths of this power.
I mean, Morgana, I've always said I hate Morgana because I can't ultimate. Like, I hate Morgana ult because, like, you're just standing in front of the face and they kill you. So someone might be asking me, like... Actually, you know what? I'll save this discussion. Like, this is a Lux video, this is not Morgana, so we'll save the Morgana talk for it when I do my Morgana series, and we can talk about why I don't think... I don't really like tank Morgana. So, stay tuned for that series.
To be fluid is to adapt.
But yeah, I think I've spoken about everything I wanted to talk about with like going tank on Enchantress. I've been holding this in, I've been wanting to really talk about this because people get asking me about like these tank items on Enchantresses, so I think I went through everything enough. And maybe we can finally just focus on the game, and
Move swiftly,
my team's going to
like
be kind of doing okay killing this Renekton. By the way, girls, with the Locket, I don't think Locket is that amazing in this matchup. Locket only really helps against Echo. I don't hate Locket. I do not dislike Locket. I think Locket is a fine item. I just think Locket is a situational item. You only build it when you have a certain team comp and when you're versing a specific team comp. Which you can find... You can figure out by watching some of my other videos that have Locket or whatever. We should be in mid lane and Salah should be in the side lane, by the way. Like, me and Twitch in mid. Like, we can't really stay in bot lane as well as he can.
Surge forward.
So if I had a squishy team comp that, like, the enemy team had Katarina, Malphite, and was gonna one-way combo my team, I would want an AoE shield rather than, like, a single target moonstone to help my team. Oh, I had Locket, I could've saved him. Actually, no, I don't have. Like, a Locket wasn't gonna be enough damage. Well. Well. Let me just walk away. Let me just walk away. I'm pretty useless, like... This is what I mean. I'm not completely at the full tank mark because I still just have like Oriana. I still have like Locket. TFT. What? Do you think I'm like boosted because my TFT? I think I'm TFT, right?
Are like water.
Let me get cooldown. Like, my shielding isn't very strong or as strong, and you'll see it happen even more later down the line. I'm not as strong. I won't be as strong. My shield won't be too strong. I won't be able to help my team. Like, sure, I can be tanky. I can, like, survive a little longer, but it doesn't matter if I survive a little longer if my Twitch dies. You will see that later down the line in this game to, like, prove my point. And, like, who cares if you stay alive? Like, what are you gonna do when you're staying alive? You're just gonna sit back and watch your team revive, so... What's the point? Also, if you're an Enchantress player, this is not about, like, going tank build or anything. If you're an Enchantress player, please stop playing so pussy and like learn to commit. I know why. Some people, when they play Enchantresses, they think that all you have to do is stand back and like stay alive, and if you see your AD carry die, like just run away or whatever. The thing is, even if you survive as an Enchantress, if your teammates are dead, it doesn't matter if you survived. You should have... It would have been better for you to have at least tried to get a kill or try to like swing the fight. Because if you run away and give up on your ADC and let them die or your team to die and you just run away because like, I'm Jan, I'm fast, I can run away. So what if you stay alive? You're just gonna sit back and wait for your team to revive. You should have... coulda, woulda, shoulda have... just like went in and tried your best to do as much work before you died. Like, just accept that you will die, but try your best to do as much work before you die. You know what, I'm pretty tanky, so let me see if I can tank a bit before I flash away, which is not a lot, right? I'm not really tanking as much. Like, if I was Leon, I would tank a lot, but as this Lux build, not that much. So I used up all my abilities and I had to flash, so... So if anyone was wondering like, oh, but you flashed and ran away there, like... It's because like I used up everything, so even if I stayed for an extra second, because I only had an extra second to live, I didn't have any ability, so it wouldn't have made a difference. I will get... I'm going tank items. There, I will get... I mean, I should really get Chemtech Creaturefy for anti-heal, but for the sake of this video, we will get... Randuins. Actually, no, we can get Anathemas, actually, we can get Anathemas. And I'll show you why it's not so amazing. Oh, period Twitch. I'm kind of waiting for my team to ping me on my build, be like, oh my god, your Lux build is so fucking shit, why are you going tank flex? Oh, he misplayed. Oh, the flippery.
This is a dream come true.
I didn't even think about ulting her as well. I mean, I'm going tank, so they can't really kill me as quickly. So does that. I mean, I guess tank makes you, like, bait people, possibly. They think they can kill you, but they can't, so they just jump into you. Possibly.
My whim is whimsy.
Once Lux has 700 AP, her should is big anyway. You actually should more with Enchantress than AP. If you have 55%, if you get like Staff of Flowing Water, Ardent Sensor, I did the math, so you just go watch my Moonstone Lux video when it comes out. We did the math, you will need 700 AP to get 496 shield on your Lux shield, and you can get 496 shield just by going Ardent Sensor, Staff of Flowing Water, and Moonstone. Those 3 items alone. Oh, Period Binding. So not only can you like get at a cheaper price, but you can shield the same. I shouldn't have Locket if I was gonna shit Locket then. So you can see, because I'm building this tank stuff, my W is very, very weak. My W doesn't do anything. And I'm not doing anything with my tanking in like... me building tank hasn't allowed me to do anything differently. Like, anything more than what I would have done as an Enchantress. Because if I was an Enchantress, I still would be landing bindings, I still would be landing my Ws and my shield, my shields and my slows. The only thing is that my shield would be stronger, I would provide more utility. Me going tank didn't allow me to do anything more. Like, it's not like I'm snaring more or I'm shielding more, or like, it's not allowing me to do anything extra. So you have to really ask yourself, like, what are these tank items really doing for me? And most likely it's doing nothing. It's most likely doing nothing.
Memory, magic, and wishes.
You'd be doing a little bit more damage as well if you're going Enchanted, because you get like some passive AP from the stuff, like Ardent Sensor gives you like a bit of AP here and there, so usually would aim... You would get around 200-ish. 200 to 300 if you like max items on Enchantress. Like, that's your AP. But like I said, tanking isn't just existing. Tanking is creating pressure, making them scared, making your team be able to move in certain areas, providing space, creating a threat. You know, like this Trundle is like Bruiser, right? But like he could probably solo some certain ADCs, right? Just because, you know, he's actually strong as a Bruiser slash tank. Well, Bruiser really. You know. Got a binding. See, like, I'm not... And this is what I mean. I mean, granted, I haven't gotten a lot of assists. I haven't gotten a lot of assists and all that, and I've been kind of zoning out. So, that could be why I don't have a lot of money. But like I said, you will never have enough money in the game with your government welfare support income to possibly get that tanky. Like, this is all I can afford. You're not shopping at Gucci, you're not shopping at Givenchy. You're shopping at Kmart, bitch, okay? And this is all I can afford. I can only afford a Locket plus a giant spell and a Kindle gem, and you know, these two items. Like, this is not enough for me to just stand in front of the face and like tank for 10 years, right? It's not enough. And that is something you have to factor into. This is why tank Leona and like, you know, Braum and Alice, they work because Leona's W, I press Leona's W, I get 40-40. I press R on Alistar, I get 50 damage reduction, I get 75% damage reduction. Braum gives like 20 armor, it scales, but you know, that's kind of the ballpark. So like these, I don't need to buy items on Leona. I'm already tanky just with my abilities. I don't get that with Lux. Lux doesn't have such things. Or Soraka. Or Janna. Like a 200 shield is... When has a 200 shield ever saved you? Let's be real. Like from like 5 people, right? A Mundo can run into 5 people, but like is a Janna 200 shield gonna save you from like 500 people on top of you? A gangbang? Not really. Like when is Soraka's Q gonna save you from a gangbang? Even if you build tank. I also don't like Warmog Soraka, that will be a separate thing. Well, I could have flashed in front of them. I thought my shield was shield. I could have flashed in front and then it would have saved him. I mean, I guess it's this, I'm tanky and you can't kill me, guess Leeson, haha. They good at me, I guess. Also, you run out of mana. Because your enchantress items give mana regen, but you're not going enchantress, you're going tank, you will run out of mana unless you go Frozen Heart. But like, if you're versing a magic team, or maybe Frozen Heart isn't good, because Frozen Heart is only good against attack speed type of comp, then, you know, are you really going to benefit from it all that much? And also, are you going to build it all the time? And plus Frozen Heart, you have to stand in front of them to get the attack speed reduction. So like, you know, are you really going to benefit from this Frozen Heartery? Oh, I got it. And I still died. I'm not tanking enough with this build. I have said this before in a previous video, but I'll just repeat it for the sake of, you know, for those who don't, like, haven't checked it out. So, mana regen and HP regen, you can check them out over here when you press C, or you can look at the Wikipedia. So I have a base health regen of 10, and I have a base mana regen of 15. We'll go on Wikipedia actually. Let's check this out. So stick around. I don't think I need to repeat, like, do a summary on why tank support, like, sorry, tank items on enchantresses are bad. I think we've kind of done it to death. So you go, no, not to go tank items on enchantresses, why it's bad. But to go onto the mana regen, HP regen stuff, we'll go onto like Leona and Lux as an example. Leona Wikipedia, Lux Wikipedia. So every character has different health regen and mana regen. So for example, Lux starts off with 5.5 health regen per 5 and goes up to 14.85, we'll just say 15. Leona starts off with 8.5 and goes up to 23. She has 6 to 19 mana, and Lux has 8 to 21 mana. When you buy items like Fairy Charm or Forbidden... Actually, we'll do Redemption. League. When you buy Redemption, you'll notice something like 100% base mana regeneration. What does that mean? It means if I had 8 mana regen at level 1 and I had Redemption, I would have my 8 that I start off with plus 8 from Redemption. If I had Redemption on Leona, I would have 6 mana regen plus 6 from Redemption. So Redemption is not the same on these two characters. Lux can get more mana regen from Redemption than Leona can. And as you would suspect with this topic of tank support and all, if you have items like Reju Bead, I guess, like what are health regen items? Spirit Visage. Spirit Visage is maybe a good example. Spirit Visage. Like these are kind of tiny numbers that it like still makes a difference. You know, some people want to go Spirit Visage Soraka, right? So Soraka has 2.5 health regen and 11 up to 11 at level 18. This gives Spirit Visage gives 100% base health regen. So if I was level 18 on Soraka, I would have 11 plus 11 from Spirit Visage for 22 health regen per 5 seconds. If I was Leona, I would have 23 plus 23 from Spirit Visage. So I would have 46 health regen compared to the 22 shitty health regen I would have on Soraka. So these tank items, Leona can get more mileage from these tank items than Soraka or Lux. And with the mana items like enchantress stuff, Lux can get more mana regen and more mileage out of like redemption than Leona. Well, I guess Leona is 6 to 19.6, but there will be some champions that kind of lack mana regen. I don't know if I can find an example. Let's see, maybe Alistar? Alistar's pretty good mana regen actually. But some champions will, you know, benefit more from the health regen items or whatever. So, not that this is like the only reason. There are many reasons why like some items work better. Tarek actually has insane mana regen. He gets up to 23 at level 18, I believe. He starts off shit. His scale is better with the mana regen. That's why mana regen on Tarek is only like a problem early game, but that's a separate thing. So, you know, with all the things that I've said throughout that game and like now, I hope that this is like enough information for you to know like why people don't build tank items on Soraka or Janna or Lulu or whatever, right? It's so much. It's not even just like one reason. Like there's so many reasons. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this game/video.